Okay, thanks for being here and following me in my journey as a software developer to show you how DevOps is working. Today, we are going to talk about continuous integration. What is exactly continuous integration and why it's very important for us as software developer? Let's start for the very first question, that is, what is CI or continuous integration? You as a developer need to build your app locally to test the work you are doing. Therefore, you build your application on demand. Continuous integration is when the application that you are developing is built automatically. Simple as that. First, let's understand what is a build for us. If you have a front-end application, let's say JavaScript files, they need to be transpiled and bundled, ready to be added to a web server as assets. If you have, for example, a Java application, the output at the end is bytecode that will be packaged in a jar or a Word and put in a Java virtual machine in a web server also, or application server. Other common scenarios you can find in PHP or in Rails, Node.js, is having the source code folder plus the dependencies packaged in a dedicated folder in the web server that the runtime interpret and execute on demand. As you can see, there are multiple cases, each requiring his own steps for building and later deploying it, making the whole process very manual and specific to each use case. Nice, but as we can see, each tech stack has its own set of rules that how they should be built. What if we had a way to standardize this process? Not by standardizing itself the build, but by ensuring that all these different cases don't affect later steps. And I'm thinking now in continuous deployment. Is then when containers come into play. Regardless how the application needs to be built, the final output always will be a container box encapsulating all this logic and a common API able to manage them. This is a way to abstract what an app is into a standard container that can be later be managed by other professionals, high DevOps, without needing to delve too much into what's inside. And that's why containers, aka Docker, and Kubernetes as a container orchestrator gained popularity in recent years. But now we are only missing when this automation should happen. Actually, it could even be for every micro code change. But that's not realistic. We have to maintain a user-centric perspective. When would be good for everybody that we build a new version of our software to be deployed? As a common accepted best practice, a new build is triggered every time a code change potentially becomes a new feature for the end user. And since this is usually related to a PR merge in the branch that would be deployed to an environment, we associate building an image by merging a PR into a branch. We will need two things: a remote repository where the code base can be pulled to proceed with the build, and a CI tool. Remember that we forget the local environment and we are now in a distributed environment. For the repository, we will choose GitHub. And for the CI, the most popular by far is Jenkins, although some people find it a bit old-fashioned. And besides Jenkins, you have a lot of software as a service, cloud, and serverless solutions. You have Travis CI, Circle CI, AWS has its own solution also, GCP with Cloud Build, and Azure Pipelines, and of course, GitHub with GitHub Actions. In our case, we'll choose GitHub Actions because it has some advantages for us. First of all, it's free for public repositories, like the one we were using for our example. And secondly, we have both repository and the CI in the same place, so we don't need additional steps to pull out the code. This is the Java app. We were playing around for the last video. And we have here this folder that I didn't talk about it. That is the folder that has the job that we will run as described previously when appear to our main branch happens. Let's go through the file step by step so you understand what is going on there. First, you have the title about the file. Okay. Then you state when you want that the job happens. In this case, we want that when there is a pull request in the main branch, it will be triggered. And then the most important part, that is the job itself. We define some environment variables here. The Docker Hub repository, I will go into this right now. The image name, that is API, hard-coded in this case. The image tag, that is the GitHub share commit. It's important to understand one thing here. We are building an image, but we are not anymore in local. We have distributed environment in the cloud, in internet. We need to push the image we built to a third-party hub repository. For that, we will be using Docker Hub. That is my repository. Okay, I have several of them. Go this here, API, and you see here some images I created. You will see the one we will create in short, and we will go into this. But just I wanted to show you about the hub. Also, as you can see here, we have this kind of secrets, blah, blah. Also here, secrets, blah, blah. What is this? Okay, you have some information that is very sensitive and you cannot put this in a plain text file and upload to GitHub. That's why you have some secrets, environment variables that you define in GitHub, and they are reachable through a key. Let me show you briefly what it is about. I am in the project. You go to settings here and you can define secrets. Okay, I have several of them. About what this job is doing, super easy. First of all, we check out the repository. Although the CI and the repo are in the same place, you have to check out the code because it's not exactly the same place. There are different machines. So we check out the code. We are in the CI. The CI has the code that has the repository from GitHub. Then we set up Docker because we need Docker for build the images in GitHub. Then we log into the Docker Hub with the user and password that I have, the token in this case. And then we build and push the Docker image. The last thing is to log out from Docker Hub. Okay, let's start with the demo. Let's first run the app. You see here, localhost 8080. We have hello world, as we show in the other video. Then let's say that we stop the server. We have a request. We have to change the text hello world and put hello Vicente. So first of all, I will create a new branch. Change text to hello Vicente. And in the new branch, I have to go to the source code and in the controller, instead word, it will be sent. And I save it. I run the server again. And I see that hello Vicente. Awesome. Now the change is approved. We want to create a PR so other mates for our company can test it and try to improve the code that maybe have some errors on it. I add all the files and I commit change name. Change to name. Then I push my branch. I have to set the upstream through. And I have a branch. Let's go to GitHub. Oh, a new branch was created and GitHub kindly asked me if I want to create a pull request. Of course I want. Against main. I want to change the name. Yeah, I want to do that. And I want to create a PR. I create a pull request. The pull request can be merged automatically. Everybody is happy with the pull request. So let's merge the pull request. And once that's done, let's go to actions. And you see, did you see here? The merge triggered the GitHub action. And we are here seeing what is happening. A lot of things. The build was completed. Let's go to our Docker repository. If I reload, I see that few seconds ago, I see that the image was created with the commit hash that I has as a tag. Okay, I think that is enough for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I am learning myself to do better videos each time, so if you have any comments about them, please drop a line. I will love to read about them. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.